Today was probably a big day for a lot of the Blackout and Zombies grinders, as we ended up getting another more minor update to Black Ops 4, adding in some more functionality, a couple of things on the MP side as well, not as many, but 2/3 of the platforms that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 services ended up getting smaller updates, while PC actually finally got the update that we had on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One from Tuesday. That ended up giving them a full-fledged update in which there was roughly about 7.78 gigabytes, or at least on my end. Yours may differ and vary ever so slightly in that, but again, just under 8 gigabytes here for that full patch. And so with both the hotfixes for Xbox One and PS4, as well as the full-blown patch for PC, there's been some changes within the game. So today we're going to be talking about and breaking down everything you need to know that really changed here out of these updates. And so with that said, there's a lot to talk about. Let's just jump right into it. So on the MP side, let's start out with the smaller stuff, because there really wasn't all that much thrown to the MP world within this update, but it is something that it added the Pro Series playlist. Now, this is what we talked a little bit about in yesterday's video, the sort of supplemental league play that we'll get until the time it actually comes out, in which it's a little bit of a public mosh pit of how the competitive rule set is played. It's unranked, it is something that does not utilize skill-based matchmaking. You can leave, you can join in progress, and it will not affect the overall gameplay itself like league play would. Once league play comes, it's going to be locked in. You can't leave without a probation period, and then also you can't join into games as well. You also have your own sort of create a class setup and all that kind of stuff, but within this you now have the ability to play Search and Destroy, Control, and Hardpoint on the maps of Seaside, Frequency, Gridlock, Arsenal, Hacienda, and Payload, and there's a lot of stuff that comes along with this that you might want to know before going into it, because unfortunately, unlike league play will, you won't have your own sort of create a class option before you jump into a game. Once you search for a match, if you join into a game in progress, theoretically all of your items in your create a class could be restricted, so therefore you'd end up spawning in with your fists. So you want to make sure that you have the knowledge of what is restricted, what is banned, and what is unusable. I'll put an image on screen right now so you guys can check that out. Maybe pause the video, you don't have to try and remember everything that I end up saying and rattling off, but if you do end up getting into a lobby before it ends up starting the match, you'll end up seeing there is a restricted icon for your create a class and score streaks and also like that, and you'll be able to see in that point what is restricted, what you have to change around, and what is not usable. So again, those items, if you end up going into a game and still having them in your class, just won't show up. So if it's a weapon, if it's an attachment, they just won't be on your gun, or they won't be in your hand at all. So if you want to play around like a competitive player, this is the best opportunity you'll get to in the CWL rule sets before League Play launches in mid-February. Again, I think that's going to be the 18th or 19th, but I digress. Let's move over into some of the other things, because the big portions of what were added in today were camo support for Zombies and Blackout. Starting on the Zombie side, this one's a little bit more straightforward here at this one. There's now the ability to end up getting Gold, Diamond, and Dark Matter, and these are granted automatically for Zombies grinders that may have already completed the challenges for headshots and the performance and technical challenges. As well, if you end up having Dark Matter, you can automatically then see that phases of Dark Matter persist and are based on headshots, which funnily enough, even the knife is apparently based on headshots in-game for unlocking each of the phases of that, but that's something that, along with these masteries, you can now equip all of the reactives and mastercraft camos, whereas you could not before previously. As with the reactives in Blackout, you'll need to re-unlock each of them at a time with their own zombies-oriented challenges. They're not a one-to-one transfer. So for example, the MP reactive of the ICR Blinding Glory Skullcracker, that reactive camo was only 5 headshots to unwrap or unlock that one. But in Zombies, it's now 100 headshots to unlock that camo. So they're going to be more so designated towards killing the zombies, obviously, and a little bit longer, because headshots are something you can kind of chain together a lot more compared to what you would in just MP for the standard player. But then you re-unlock those, and if you have gold on the weapon, you can then end up using any of the other unlocked reactive camos on that weapon as well. It doesn't just have to be that reactive camo specific to that weapon. Let's move over to some of the Blackout stuff, because Zombies was rather straightforward in what was added, the camo support and the mastery camos there, but nothing outside of that was really too major, other than some changes for the new 9 gauntlet that was fixed out. But outside of that, Blackout, we saw the introduction of Zero's outfit unlock. The character quest line here for that is now introduced, in which if you look at Zero in the menu selection, you're going to end up seeing the quest line is activated by retrieving the alien charm near computers. Now, this refers to finding the charm by array in the computers there, as well as all other items. The spawns are often random, so you won't be able to find it every single match, but as far as I know, that's where it spawns. Once you find it, you're then tasked with destroying 50 pieces of equipment and finishing with the item in your inventory. Now, 50 is a lot, but the bright side is that is a lifetime total. It's not something you have to do that obviously in one game, because that would be next to impossible. Now, the thing I'm a little caught up on is I'm not sure if at the moment this is something that you can pick it up and finish it over time, so that sort of checks off one of the requirements for a lifetime, or if it's something that you have to destroy 50 items and then pick it up and then finish the match with it in your inventory, because that is kind of an interesting one. You could find it and then realize, wow, I am actually never going to finish it this game. So it sort of pushes it off for a lot of players if that's the case, but that is something you'll then be tasked with, destroying 50 items of equipment over a lifetime in Blackout. So if you start to see some trophy systems, some sensor darts, some mesh mines, make sure you try and take those out so you can end up working towards that. But if you end up completing it, it then grants you the numbers outfit in Blackout, which you can then transfer to MP. And this one, obviously, I really enjoy the numbers uniforms, but I think that honestly, looking at this, they may have actually nerfed the numbers uniform as well. It seems like it's not as vibrant. It's a little bit darker, and the numbers themselves aren't as bright of a red. It's almost like an orange now at this point. But I digress. That's something you then get the numbers uniform for completing that. The other big thing within Blackout was, of course, the full Blackout camo progression system. Along with this comes a full performance and technical section to Blackout camos, and even a tab of its own, so you'll have the equivalent of the MP and Zombies camos as is in Blackout as well. There's 14 total camos to unlock that most may look familiar because they're palette changes to existing camos, but camos nonetheless. But to unlock these, you need to end up finding paint cans, which is a new feature and item implemented within Blackout and can be found all over the Blackout map. Each weapon will have that base grassland camo as the first one to unlock. That's going to end up requiring you to redeem 5 paint cans to purchase it, if you will, and then they start to go up incrementally after the Desert Fox camo, so the second camo. But paint cans themselves are essentially a new Blackout in-game currency, like we just mentioned. You can buy the camos with those paint cans. You can find these on shelves, desks, benches, and so on and so forth in the map, and they're relatively easy to find. The nice part about these, though, is they don't take up any inventory space, and they're just like armor scraps, so it's its own separate pocket, and it also doesn't affect your in-game performance whatsoever. It's purely an item to collect, kind of like a questline token with no challenge associated with it, but also doesn't take up any room in your inventory. As it stands right now, based off of some quick observations of about maybe half a dozen to a dozen games so far, you can seemingly hold as many as you'd like, and it seems like it's unlimited. A buddy of mine that you may know, Sparrows, actually ended up collecting 30 in one match, so it's definitely a lot that you can hold there, and however many you may find, you can hold on to them for the end of the game. That said, they don't take up inventory space again, which is great, and they seem to spawn on propped up locations. So if you're looking, say, towards an office, that may be one of the better locations to do it, or some items with wood pallets or something like that, like construction. Unfortunately, as it stands, they cannot be looted from death stashes, and it also kind of shifts the focus of how I kind of play Blackout as a whole. I'm more so focused on finding these cans sometimes than really focusing on the entire area around me if there's a player coming up, which I don't necessarily like, but it's an interesting change to how players may be playing the game mode overall. As for the mastery camos, when you end up completing those performance and technicals, well, unfortunately, they may seem familiar because they are exactly the gold, diamond, and dark matter that we've seen from MP from the very beginning. And for this grind to end up getting what is inevitably the same camos from MP, it is something that I think is going to take way longer because you only find probably on average a handful of paint cans a game. And so lasting maybe about 20 minutes a game, comparably that's about a headshot every single 4 minutes or so in MP. And so therefore you have more weapons, which presumably, assuming the DLC weapons are tethered to this, as well as a longer interval in time, it's gonna take quite a bit of time. So if it were up to me, I'd end up reevaluating how we can end up getting some of these. Of course, have the paint can still spawn in the world, but also I think there should be something that allows for earn rates of, say, 1 paint can per kill or 1 paint can per headshot even. Additionally, I'd love to see them be made lootable, but also not count against the player that ended up dying who initially looted them, so that the end game rewards more players and can then grant more cans to the players that end up staying alive the most. And also, I'd love to see some bonuses, maybe like a 5 or 10 can bonus for top 10, top 5, and maybe a win, as it then also just rewards more so playing the game of Blackout as a whole and not just a looting simulator, but it also prioritizes those engagements as well, and gives a little bit more reward, once again, for staying alive and being the last of 100 players. Now, the final thing I'll talk about in terms of the Blackout and Zombies camo challenges is that honestly, I'm a bit disappointed. I'm somebody that doesn't really care too much. I'm laissez-faire about everything. I'll go with the flow, but I'm a little bummed out that it's gold, diamond, and dark matter camo that we've already seen. To me, I was hoping for, in both Blackout and Zombies, a little bit more of a unique and focused camo style. Something that's not just, again, what we saw from MP from launch. To me, gold, diamond, and dark matter camo are all MP camos. They have been for years. But where I see it as a missed opportunity is to reward players of that specific fandom, if you will, an homage to their grind. Admittedly, I haven't really thought about anything for zombies to give this off the top of my head, so don't really have an example here on the zombies end, but for Blackout, the mode that I'm sure you guys are all well aware of, that I'm in love with, I truly believe that if you would have had other tiers for, say, gold and diamond, you could have made the dark matter equivalent camo be the numbers texture. Just kind of take that numbers uniform and then apply it to a weapon. To me, I think if you end up just porting over that texture and animation to a weapon canvas and then adjusting accordingly for clipping, bada bing bada boom, you have a focused mastery camo in Blackout that players from Blackout fully recognize, and it shows off the more so focused and tailored grind for Blackout while also being something that looks absolutely sick. And additionally, we know that Treyarch loves to do the phase things with the camos, so you could end up making, say, the numbers flash more frequently and more intensely, and honestly, I think if you did that, it'd be a hit. I don't think there'd be much of any pushback for that, but to me, I just feel like it's a good step, but it just was a missed opportunity for what was actually delivered. And sure, that's probably me being very picky and everything, but I just see the same thing being rehashed in Blackout and Zombies, and I can't help but think that it would have been really cool to see something that rewarded those specific players with something specific to their grind. Outside of this, though, kind of wrapping everything up, this also sets the stage for what will be a double merits event going on later this weekend, starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, going until Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If I'm not mistaken, Nuketown is also returning as a playlist for MP, but then on the other side of the spectrum here for more so focused stuff, Xbox One and PC now have the return of Down But Not Out until Tuesday, in which then you'll have Ambush granted to players on that front as well. A lot of fun with both modes, so definitely take advantage of Down But Not Out while you have the opportunity to. I've really enjoyed that game mode, but Ambush is something to look forward to for sure. And then in terms of PC, they had absolutely everything that we did on Tuesday on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but they also added a couple of different things in. They added 4 new gameplay options to tweak ADS mouse sensitivity for low and high zoom scopes. They also added 2 new audio options to temporarily reduce the game's sound when somebody else is talking in a chat channel, which that attenuation can then be adjusted accordingly, and they resolved a couple of issues with diamond camo and aspect ratio issues. But outside of that, again, it was a more so smaller update, more so focused on some of the other areas of customization within Call of Duty Black Ops 4. As for Xbox One and PC, unfortunately, again, I don't know why core features like this are being held to exclusivity, so that's something you guys will get as of next Thursday for Zombies in Blackout, but as it stands right now, we'll have some guides going up on the channel to help you guys out with that so you can jump in immediately, grind out everything you may want to, but again, that's what changed to you at this in today's update. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you guys happy with Blackout and Zombies Mastery camos? Are you guys a little disappointed? Do you guys have anything that you would add or change to the paint can system in Blackout? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, multiplayer, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it is, link in the description below. But let's end out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.